So from architect's perspective, what is the meaning of static website?
Engineering static websites goes beyond HTML and CSS. It goes like how your website is indexing on Google.
Before choosing the Astro, what was the problem you were facing and what was the problem you were trying to solve?
We want website to be have a less JavaScript. We want website to be understandable by SEO. I think Astro can handle that thing better way.
So recently Accucia has built its own website, which is static one, right? So people often assume that static is simple. So what are your thoughts on it?
That's not true, Pratik. When people heard a static word, they assume that static means simple. That's not true at all. When we build a static website, there is lots of engineering goes into it.
Many of the people think that building a static website is simple and easy. But here in Accucia, we think it's required some heavy engineering. Hello, my name is Pratik. I'm a senior software developer at Accucia. And today I'm here with Mr. Chhota. We recently rebuilt our website with the same standards we applied to build a big enterprise solutions. To discuss it further, let's welcome Mr. Chhota. Hello Mohammad, welcome to this podcast. It's really nice to have you here. How are you?
I'm fine, Pratik. How are you?
I'm also doing perfectly fine. So let's start with the first question. So recently Accucia has built its own website, which is static one, right? So people often assume that static is simple. So what are your thoughts on it?
That's not true, Pratik. When people heard a static word, they assume that static means simple. That's not true at all. When we build a static website, there is lots of engineering goes into it. There is things we have to understand how we should build a software. When you are building a website, it's like you are building your brand. You are building your brand that represents you. If your website is slow or if your website is unreliable, that means the potential client landing to your website is going to assume you are not serious about your business, and he's going to make a decisions. If he sees the page is getting loaded slowly, if he sees the security warning is coming on the website, if he sees the poorly designed content, then definitely he's going to silently go away. You have to design a website in such a way that people is coming to your website, they feel comfortable, they can identify your brand, they can see a value in you. So that's how things goes in a static website.
So you are a senior solutions architect, right? So from architect's perspective, what is the meaning of static website? The engineering static website means.
Engineering static websites goes beyond HTML and CSS. It goes like how your website is indexing on Google, how Google is understanding your website, how secure your website is, how non-technical people are able to put content onto your website, how your website is performing on a real world, how you're deriving the values. When you answer those questions, it will become no longer just a basic website. It will become a reliable software. And you have to think beyond that. Like you have to understand what sort of things you have to build in your website that make a website good.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So we have built our website using Astro framework, right? So before choosing the Astro, what was the problem you were facing and what was the problem you were trying to solve?
So at Accucia, we don't choose any framework randomly. We do our analysis. We check what problem we are trying to solve, which tools are best for that things. So right now we are building content-driven website where the content is the main things. We want a website to be load faster. We want website to be have a less JavaScript. We want website to be understandable by SEO. We want website image to be load faster. We want a website that is reliable. So we have compare couple of framework. Like we have compare multiple framework, and we come on conclusion that whatever our business need for this website, I think Astro can handle that thing better way. So for that purpose, we have choose Astro as our framework of choice.
Yeah, definitely. After doing a lot of research, we came up choosing Astro. So before that, you have compared some other frameworks, right? So why not more popular frameworks like Next.js or something like that?
Yes, Pratik. People oftenly ask these questions, like why you are not choose Next.js, why you choose Astro. That is fundamental questions people ask. My answer to that question is we have to choose right framework for right work. Every framework is designed for different things. So Nest.js is designed for a dynamic website where you need more interactivity. But on other hand, Astro was designed for the content-driven website in mind. So it provides all the things that we are looking for to developing the content-driven website. Our website has a heavy content. So our focus was to choose a framework which has all the features needed for that particular work. Accucia, we never choose blindly, or we don't say that this framework is popular, use this framework for this purpose. We do our analysis, like we have to compare every framework one by one, and then only we have to define, okay, we have to choose this framework. Like there are many popular frameworks. Popular doesn't mean we should use that framework blindly. We should have to analyze our end. We have to analyze for what purpose this framework is good for, and based on that only we have to take decisions.
Yeah, definitely. You told that every framework has a different feature and it is built for a purpose, right? So Astro, you told that Astro is built for content heavy website. So yeah, so there are certain trade-offs or certain features which we don't wanted in Astro or we wanted in Astro. So what trade-off you were conscious about while selecting Astro?
In every framework there will be different trade-offs. It's not like there is some framework is perfect. Every framework has some trade-off. We have to understand whether this trade-off is going to affect what project we are building. If it is not affecting, then we should choose a. So basically when we have choose Astro, we have also done a trade-off analysis. We come on a conclusion that Astro was not built for a highly dynamic website. It is not built for a website which needed a real-time updations. As of now, we are building a static website where the content is a key things. So that trade-off is not holding us back to choose Astro as a framework, because it's providing us a few things which other framework was not offering to us. That's only reasons we have choose Astro over the other framework.
Okay, perfect. So see, if we have to just go with the popularity, React and Next.js and other frameworks are in the top. So in what scenarios you will still recommend Next.js?
At Accucia, we develop many projects on Nest.js. We are not telling you that Nest.js is a bad framework. Nest.js is a pretty good framework. It depends on what your use case is. If you are developing ERP or CRM applications or SaaS applications, or if you are developing some website where real-time data is required, or you are developing some website where interactivity is required, so over there Nest.js is the best choice. Yeah. It has all the features. It has a good community support. It is a mature framework. So when you are developing some sort of things where interactivity is a key, you should choose Nest.js as a framework.
Right, correct. So before this podcast, I was searching a bit on internet about Astro. So Astro has also one feature which we can use, or let's say we have a React developer or an Next.js developer. So they can also implement their own custom built components into the Astro, right? So can you explain me a bit more about it?
So Astro by default, Astro is a framework which allow us to use other framework inside. So Astro is a framework diagnostic. We can use React, we can use Vue, we can use Sublet. So based on our business need, we can introduce new framework. So that is a very good features in Astro. Like if we can start from plain basic Astro, and on one page, if we feel there is a need of reactive things, we can introduce React. On the same page, if we feel there is a need for Vue, we can introduce Vue. So that's a good features Astro having. So on one page only, we can able to add multiple framework, but it's depend where it is actually required. So it's not holding us back in the long run that if you have choose Astro, then this thing is not going to happen. It has a power of all the framework. You can able to introduce any framework on any page whenever is required. So basically by default, it is not going to load any framework. It's going to load framework when that that viewport is visible to the users. It is going to load if you have added Java or React in your website, then React is going to load when you reach to that sections. So that is a good power of Astro we have.
Okay, so let's come toward the SEO and performance segment. So of course, you explained a bit more about performance to us. Let's come towards the SEO. Let's talk about more about it. So can you tell me what efforts were required? So first thing, we have deployed our website, right? So it needs some inputs, or it needs some sort of development, we can say, and analysis to rank our website on the top on the search engines, for example Google or anything else, right? So what do you think, like what efforts we need to rank our website and get it on the top?
So when we develop content heavy website, the main purpose of the content heavy website is to rank higher on SEO. It should generate high amount of traffic. Nowadays, geo is also getting popular. So we also have to think about geo. But SEO and geo will happen eventually. When you are planning your content, you have to plan in a way that it should be understandable by SEO and geo. If your website is rendering fast and it have a clear structures, then SEO is going to help you out. Because SEO nowadays like clarity, it like speeds. With Astro, we got all those things. All our content is rendered statically. So there is no client-side rendering, there is no JavaScript is rendering template, or all those things which other framework has. That is not present in Astro. Everything is HTML and CSS, which is precompiled, which help SEO to understand the content of the website faster. Apart from that, on Astro side, there is many things available which help us to build website which can be ranked higher. Like there is a sitemap support, where whenever you are adding a new page, it is creating automatically sitemap. There is no worry you don't have to worry about creating sitemap and submitting that sitemap, updating, maintaining those sitemap. Those things can be taken care by Astro framework. Then there is a SEO related, some specific libraries are available which we can include in Astro header text, which help us to organize our content in a better way.
Yeah, that's really good information you have given. So there are a lot of stuff which is pre-built in Astro which helps in SEO, right? So can you tell me those things, the SEO things and the analytics things, should be focused while development, or those are post-launch tasks?
SEO and geo should be afterthought. Before you write any single line of code, you should think about SEO and geo. You should think about your content, how you are structuring your content, how you are making sure that every content you are writing is SEO friendly. If you publish your website and then after that you think about, let's make it that website rank higher on Google. After that, if you are doing, then you are applying some hacks. You are putting some keywords on your metadata, and you try to hope that this is going to work. But nowadays, that is not going to work. Now, Google SEO is understand your website better than ever. In the era of AI, SEO understand your content with LLM. Now, the hack which you see on internet, it's not going to work. That put these things on this thing and it's going to rank higher. That is old era. Now SEO becomes smarter. They understand what is the meaning of this content, if it is deriving the value to the users or not. If those things are not present, nowadays your content is not going to rank higher on Google. Nowadays, if your content is good, then your LLM is going to recommend you. Nowadays, most of the traffic is coming from Google. Nowadays, most of the traffic is coming from LLM chatbot, such as Gemini, such as ChatGPT. So, if ChatGPT or Gemini don't understand your content, then they are not going to recommend you. SEO is also important, but we have to think about geo also. How modern chatbot, modern LLM is recommended your website. If that is not happening, then that is a best. If that is not happening, then best reason is your content is not proper. You have to think on your content. You don't have to rely on the sticky hack, which is not going to work at all.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So nowadays in this AI world, so if I have to build a website, so I just go into the Cloud Code or Gemini or ChatGPT and ask that I have to build such a website. It gives the code and we deploy it on server. So every content in the website should be thoughtfully put, right? So the ranking website higher on the Google, so it means that we have to put the content like the meta tags, description, and all the stuff thoughtfully, not using by AI, but you have to think actually what services we are providing. For an example, if I search for a service, so it should related to that content, right? Then only or Google or the search engine or the chatbots will rank them higher. Am I correct?
Yes, you are absolutely correct, Pratik. Nowadays, SEO is going to understand your website properly if you have planned your content properly. SEO is going to understand what things you are offering, what value you are giving to the end users. If you are providing value to the end users and your website is clear, then only your website is going to rank higher. Otherwise, your website is not going to rank higher.
Yeah, right. So we have a lot of tools. I think in Accucia we have implemented analytic tools as well. So can you put some more light on it, like how analytic tools helps us to gather some insightful data?
Analytical tool help us to understand whatever assumptions we make while developing the website or while developing any software. How you will validate what things are working out for users and what things are not working out for users. You cannot go and ask in each and every users. There should be some measuring metrics. What we can do, we can integrate analytical tools. There are multiple analytical tools which use for different purpose. If we take example, then Google Analytics is to understand where the traffic is coming from, what they are interacting with your website, what they like, what they don't like, after which content they are dropping off. So that kind of analysis we can get it with the Google Analytics. Apart from that, there is a SEMrush analysis. Then if you want to understand your website, where the people are clicking most, where the people are engaging most, then there is a heat map analysis. So if you use analytical tools, then you will get insight of your website. You don't make your assumptions. You take a proper decisions based on your data. If your data is telling you this thing is working, then that is working. We don't have to assume anything. We have to validate with the data.
Yeah, right, absolutely right. So you have given a lot of good information about SEO. So let's jump towards the fourth segment of this podcast, which is related to security, and we'll talk more about infrastructure as well. So tell me, for static sites, many of the people ignore security, right? Can you please give us more information or talk more about it?
Security isn't about whether site is static or site is dynamic. We have to think about security at all places. When you are deploying your website on public domain, there might be chances of vulnerability. There might be bot attack. But if you are not preventing against those things, then your website is going to get down. Then that is going to impact you on SEO. That is going to impact you as a business. If your website is getting down, then potential client is not able to use it. If your website has a vulnerability, then your SEO is not going to improve. You have to think on security at all places, whether you are building the static website or whether you are building a dynamic website. SSL is never be negotiable. So good configuring SSL is mostly required. If you configure SSL bad way, that is also lead to the security threshold. That can lead to the, if you configure SSL on a wrong way, that might be put you on attack. We have to think on how we are securing all the pages of our website, and we have to think on how our website should be globally available. We have to think on CDN. We have to think on provisioning server. So those things we have to consider while developing any website.
Yeah, so you mentioned a term CDN, right? So correct me if I'm wrong. CDN stands for Content Delivery Network, right? So can you tell me more about it, like why it's important and why, like how it's work, like what are the internals and like that?
Yes, Pratik, you are correct. CDN stands for Content Delivery Network. It is important that you should implement CDN because your traffic is going to come from any regions of the world. Your user is going to visit your website from Asia. Your user is going to visit your website from Europe. So you make sure your website is getting served quickly as possible. There should be not a latency. So if your website is sitting at at one locations, there might be latency involved. Consider one example over here. Let's say if there is only one restaurant which serves the pizza, and that restaurant is in China, and people are ordering the pizza from India, or people are ordering the pizza from the US regions, then there will be latency that somebody has to go and fetch pizza from China location, then they have to serve in India location. What if that pizza restaurant open multiple branches with all regions, and people can order the pizza from their nearest branches? Will it be easy? Yes, of course it is. It will be easy. Like if you are ordering from nearest locations, then that pizza is going to serve you fastest. In the same way, the CDN is going to work. What CDN does, it have edge server. So the edge server is setting it all over the regions. So whatever content of your website is going to get cached on that CDN regions, and whenever some user is going to request that content, it is going to serve from the nearest regions. Apart from that, there is many other things CDN has to offer. It's not about nearest locations only, but it offer cachings. So even if your server is getting down, the CDN can able to serve traffic. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. So let's come toward the security part of this segment. So let's talk. You already covered SSL, right? Let's come toward the CAPTCHA. So can you tell me more about CAPTCHA and where we should apply it?
At our website, we have applied CAPTCHA at contact us form. We are capturing leads, and if you don't apply CAPTCHA, then what is going to happen? Bad people is going to attack your website. They are going to put a fake lead on your contact form. Then that fake lead is going to pollute your data. It's going to pollute all entire data, and then you are not able to differentiate which lead is real and which lead is a fake. So for that, I think whenever you are building some form on public facing website, you should always protect it. That is the most common vulnerability. People try to attack on forms. If we see any form, there is most chances of getting attacked. So how we can secure it, and how we will differentiate actual human leads and fake leads? To differentiate and to mitigate the fake lead, we have to apply the CAPTCHA. What CAPTCHA does is it separates out actual human from the AI. The CAPTCHA does is actually separate out human and bot. If the bot is trying to fill your form, then it is not going to pass the CAPTCHA. The CAPTCHA is designed specifically in the way that it should not be get passed by bot. And there is one more thing I want to highlight over here is like badly configured CAPTCHA is also very risky. Like I see many times people configure CAPTCHA on a front end only, but you should validate those CAPTCHA on the back end also. If you don't validate, or if you implement CAPTCHA in a wrong way, that is also chances of failures.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I totally agree with you. So there are lots of bots which are there all over the places. They are in this hunt of the websites which eventually floods our database with the fake content. So we should put CAPTCHA, and you mentioned it correctly that CAPTCHA needs to be in front end as well, and it should be validated on the back end as well. So that is absolutely correct. That's really good information you have given us. So let's come towards the fifth segment of this podcast, which is related to CMS. So right now in our website, that is a static website, right? But there are some contents like blog, right? So we create blogs, we write blogs, and post them on a website. Can you talk a bit more about it, like what is CMS and how we have implemented in our website?
CMS stands for Content Management System. So when it comes to the publishing the dynamic content on your website, how we can publish the dynamic content on website, that is important. We have to give provisions to the non-technical team that they can able to put a content on website. They should not depend on a development team to update any part of your website. Engineering team should be focused on developing new features. Engineering team should be focused on defining the structures. CMS help us to get those gaps. So basically there are different approach we can use for CMS. There are many CMS available in the market. How you choose a CMS, that is also one engineering. What sort of features you will require for in the CMS. There are typically what people do is like they try to develop their own CMS, but I don't think that is required as such. You should not reinvent a wheel, that is not required. You should use whatever tools is available in a market. At Accucia, what we have done is like we have compared multiple CMS such as Sanity, Strapi, WordPress, Django. All the CMS we have compared, and we have come on conclusions that Sanity is going to work best for us, as it provides developer-friendly approach where there is no rigid structures. There is a flexibility. You can define your own structures. You can define content whatever way you would like, and that helps us to think on our website rather than focusing towards what is not required. It helps us to excel our website, and it helps us to improve our website. It helps us to build our website faster.
Right. So, so you have chose Sanity CMS, right? So can you tell me like what decision made you to choose Sanity?
So while comparing the CMS, we have taken multiple key factors. Like whatever the CMS we are going to choose, it should be first reliable. Then second thing is whatever CMS we are going to choose, it should offer good SEO. Apart from that, there are other key factors such as CMS should be available at all time. CMS should be easy for developer to integrate. CMS should be easily, flexibly modifiable. CMS should be accessible with APIs. All these things we have, and once we have considered, after that we have taken these decisions. We have compared multiple things, and after that we have come on a conclusion that Astro is going to work best for us. And before proceeding on our website, we have developed some MVP and we have tried out, okay, this is working out or not. And once our research and R&D is completed, then only we have choose the Sanity.
Yeah, that's absolutely makes sense. So let's come towards the sixth segment of this podcast. So earlier I mentioned AI and vibe coding, right? So many of the YouTubers or the influencers promote vibe coding. Do you really agree on it, or what are your thoughts on it?
I think vibe coding you should do when you are doing MVP. If you are building a real product, you should not do the vibe coding. You should understand whatever the code is generated by AI. If you know what AI has generated, then you can use that code. If you don't understand what garbage AI has generated, then you should not use it. Because on productions, it is going to get fail. On productions, there are different scenarios that people are going to interact with your website. And if the real revenue is going to get involved in that, your business is going to get suffer from that if you have not developed with the proper AI.
Okay, yeah, you are absolutely right. So apart from AI, why some big companies and tech giants still considered professional web developers to build their websites?
When it's come to the professional software, there are multiple things involved. People are going to interact your software with differently than what you do at the development. So professional understand what need to be done to develop successful software. That's the reasons I think company is considering the professional over vibe coding, because vibe coding is not reliable. When it is going to get fail, or when it's going to get messy, no one know. Like sometimes AI is going to hallucinate, sometimes it is going to give wrong answers. So if you don't understand what AI is generating, then it is a problematic. You should consider professional if you are serious about your business.
Yeah, correct. So the professional knows what things need to be done, right? Right. They have a good knowledge and they can guide the AI. So if this much of engineering applies to build a static website, a simple static website, so how much engineering should be applied to build a real world CRMs or ERP softwares? What do you think?
When it comes to the real world software, there are lots of engineering applied. It's whatever we have discussed, that is a bare minimum things. When it comes to the ERP or CRM, there is completely other games. There is a lots of things we have to consider. We have to consider about securities in a different perspectives. We have to think about how we develop software. How we have to think about how data is going to get stored. How we have to think about retentions policy. We have to think about how user is going to use your software. We have to think about UI UX. And many other things are applicable when it comes to the professional software.
I think this is pretty much covers up this podcast. Like why the static is not a simple. It requires some heavy engineering, lots of things going behind, like how the deployment should be, what are the strategies we should implement, what are the cloud infrastructure we have to think about, right? So, what are the last message you want to give to the people who are watching this podcast, like the business owners, right? So, what you want to say to them?
A software is an investment, not an expense. You should consider a good quality software to grow your business. If you don't invest in a good software, then you are going to struggle in growing your business. You are going to spend a time. You are going to spend your efforts. That is also you have to consider. People are going to do the repetitive tasks. If you invest in a good quality software, that will make your business process easier and smoother.
Thank you so much, Mohammed, for joining this podcast. And it's really nice to have you here. And we'll see you in the next podcast. Thank you.
Pratik.